Baseline, baseline, baseline. Welcome to this video. This is Toby Morrison. I'm shooting this video from France, south of France actually, where it's beautiful. It's like 28 degrees today maybe. And I'm doing this video on baseline because a lot of people in the world, especially in the CFS world, who are on their way to recovery get really confused around the concept of baseline, how it can help them and how it can propel them forwards in their recovery. Now, there's also a catch-22 of having a baseline because you feel like you're in a bit of a jail sentence where you have to stay within your limits all the time. It's a bit like pacing, and it becomes more of a drawback than a benefit. So what I'm going to suggest in this video is that you just take this word with a grain of salt and take whatever resonates, because obviously not everything's going to suit you, but I think this is a really important topic that you can get your head around and actually benefit from. So baseline in the theoretical term means being able to do something within your limits that doesn't make you exacerbate your symptoms or make you feel worse than you already feel at the moment. So therefore it would mean that you wouldn't push yourself, you wouldn't overly stimulate yourself and get into that push and crash cycle or boom and bust cycle, which is typically known in the chronic fatigue syndrome world. The issue with baseline, and what people get really worried about with baseline, is that if they have a baseline, then they can't do anything outside of their baseline. Now, that's not necessarily true, and this is where the catch-22 comes, because if we become in this trap that we put ourselves in this bubble where we create a lot of anxiety when we step outside our baseline, and then we go, oh no, we can't do that, we're going to have a crash. Now, that's not necessarily true. The baseline is purely there just to stabilize your health. It doesn't mean that you can't go and do things beyond your baseline. It just means it's there to help you stabilise your health. Now, things in life pop up: events, family, marriages, dinners, birthdays, school, uni, work, depending on your ability and your health. So, and the thing with baseline is that it's so variable, so everyone's so different. There's people, depending on the stage of recovery, you may be completely bedbound, where your baseline might be sitting up out of bed for 20 minutes. Or going to the bathroom 2 times a day. I know that was the case for myself and a lot of clients out there. Your baseline might be, a 1 minute walk a day. Your baseline might be working 5 hours a day and doing your yoga in the afternoon. Everyone's baseline is different, and it progresses and changes and diverses depending on your health. As you feel better, you do more. As you feel worse, you do less. All right, that's pretty common. So what we want to do is figure out what we can do in this current moment, in this current time, and how can we make that more of a potential to do more in the future without feeling any worse. The first thing is obviously stabilizing your health and figuring out your baseline. The second thing is progressing from that. So if you're in your baseline right now and it's causing more stress than it really needs to, then either get rid of your baseline completely or change your perception around what baseline really means, because a lot of the time we tell ourselves this story that we have to be in this set routine all the time, and if we go outside it, then bad things are going to happen. Now, if we think like that and we create that story, then more often than not, bad things will happen, and we will create that crash and boom and bust cycle. I'm not saying go and run out a marathon, because that's totally untrue too. However, I'm saying you know what's best for you and you know what you have to do, and sometimes you might have to break your baseline to go and do something that you love, or see someone you love, or be with someone you love, or do something you love. So baseline doesn't necessarily mean stick within your limits all the time, and sometimes it means becoming a little bit less rigid, so you can actually enjoy life and do things no matter the circumstances. Because sometimes recovery becomes such a full-time job that we get so lost in it that it becomes so serious, and it just screws us up, and we get so tight and rigid and anxious and in a stressed state all the time, and that's not good either. So my suggestion to you, first of all, if your baseline's working for you, then that's awesome and keep doing it. If it's not working for you, then just change it. It's not really that big a deal. If you need help, you can always get coaching. You can email one of my assistants, Lani, at info@cfshealth.com, and she'll be able to help you. Otherwise, just change your story around what baseline actually means, because I think a lot of the time we have a bit of a misconception of what it really is and how it works. The most important thing around baseline is, one, managing and maintaining your health, so making sure it doesn't get any worse than what it already is, or managing and maintaining it so it can improve and get better, which is kind of a nice way of putting it. So I would invite you to have a look at what you're doing on a daily basis, and if you've got no order and you're in a lot of chaos, then that's why a baseline is great, because you can create some order in your life and some structure, and start to be able to do things that you weren't once able to do before. Now, when there's order in place, things start to usually happen well. When there's chaos involved, you know, I know, for example, I've got a really messy house most of the time, I really suck at dishes and stuff, then my house becomes a little bit chaotic and it's not as nice to be in, the environment to be in. Same goes for life, same goes for everything. So, and a quick shout out to Lani, my assistant, who's just joined us recently. You know, before Lani came on, my email account was just chaotic. You know, there was like thousands of emails that I just didn't look at. I couldn't read because I was just too busy with everything else that, you know, I didn't have time to check it all out. So with her coming in, she's just been an angel to be able to reply and help more people, and, you know, really give good advice to people, and that's you know, that's really given a lot of order into that daily kind of cycle that I'm in, and it's made my life a lot easier. So thank you, Lani, and that's a great example to use in your life. What can you make more orderly to help you improve your situation? Again, you know, you might, like last night, I went out for dinner with a great family, and we didn't get home till 1:30 in the morning, I think it was. So, you know, there was no point stressing over it. It just is what it is, you know. A late night's a late night, and, you know, as long as I have a good sleep and I wake up and I eat well and, you know, I train well, and I do what I need to do for me, because, you know, we're all different, then we can get back on track and do what we need to do. So just a quick video. I hope that helps on baseline. I know there's lots of confusion out there. You know, routine and structure is so key to your body. It needs to know what time it goes to bed. It needs to know when's daylight and when's nighttime. When we're all over the place and we're chaotic, it doesn't know what time of day it is, when to eat lunch, when to digest dinner, when to go to bed, when to poo, when to wee, you know, and so your body just becomes out of whack. And that's probably one of the biggest things I've seen with CFS affect so many people, is that once you get into a really good routine and structure, the body tends to adapt really well. You know, we have two choices. We either change our environment or change our behaviour, and in order to change really well. So, you know, both are really good. I mean, geez, this environment's pretty nice to be in, but, you know, but also changing our way of behaving in terms of, I mean, orderly fashion, day-to-day stuff, how we live, can make a really massive impact on our lives. You know, I've seen it millions of times, and, you know, in my own life and my clients' life. So I hope that helps. Comment below your experience and what you need help with and where you're stuck, and maybe that will create more awareness for you to make a better change. For you guys who you know, use English as your second language, I'm sorry I spoke so fast today. Hopefully you can replay it and watch it a few times. All the best from South of France. I hope that helps. You know, become less rigid, do what's right for you, and everything else will take care of itself. Love you lots. Cheers.